Hey, what's going on as a Facebook fam, Instagram fam, YouTube fam, all of you fam? First of all, my question is, did you get the book yet? Did you get the book yet? I'm gonna bother you guys about this book every single day until y'all start ordering. Those of you who have ordered, thank you, appreciate you. Hope you loved and enjoyed the book. I spent a lot of time and energy in creating this book, hopefully to give you some insight. Now, I live not too far from the airport, so forgive the noise for the air, but let's just get right into it. There are a lot of people that struggle to get funding for their business. And when I say funding for the purposes of this conversation, I mean angel funding or VC funding. Okay, we're not talking about crowdfunding, friends and family round, loans, grants, all that other stuff, government grants. I don't go into all of those. What I do know is about VC and angel funding. So I decided to write this book because I was tired of the conversation and the narrative that's out there for the public that's talking about, oh, women don't get funding, black women can't get funding, Latinas can't get funding. Now, I do admit there is a disparity, and I do admit that it's easier for our white counterparts to get funding than it is for us. But there is funding out there. Serena Williams Ventures, she has invested in 14 what they call unicorn companies. Unicorn companies are companies that have the potential or the valuation of $1 billion company. Okay, there's plenty of us. Somebody made a comment on their post the other day that it kind of threw me off a little bit because I think she didn't mean anything by it, but I think it's the way it was worded. And if you are watching this, you know what I mean. She said there were two black women in her event that were about to or reach the $1 million mark and said that that's an anomaly. It's rare. Let me correct that because it's not rare. Just as it's not rare or an anomaly for black women, Hispanic women, whatever, to get VC or angel funding. The problem is when you put yourself in the mindset of a VC, they are thinking about products that or services that they can relate to. So it's investor bias. I talk about that in the book. And the way to get around that is to get to know the investor. And I'm not going to put all of it out there because then you won't buy the book. But you have to position your company so that they understand it. Let's just say that's the abbreviated version of it. I talk a lot about that in the book and also about the things that you need to do to prepare your company to become investment ready. The problem is a lot of people look at the investing world like it's Shark Tank. I love Shark Tank. ABC, please don't come for me because I'm not getting down on you, but you know, life in the looking for funding is not a Shark Tank episode. And there are people who have gone on Shark Tank, didn't get an investment or turned down an investment. Let's look at Nopaletta, Sandra, you know. Let's look at the Lip Bar, Melissa Butler, you know. And they went on to do great things. And they were going to do great things regardless if they got the funding from them or not. But there are women of color out there who do pitch, who have companies that are scalable, who have companies and brands that are ready to get funding but can't break through that block to get to the investors. I talk a lot about that in the book on what to do, how to establish your relationships and connections with investors. And I also gave investors and their different specialties and what stage they invest in this book. So I think you should go ahead and purchase the book. You can go on mogulchix.com and get the book. It's ready and available, and it's the best one to date, I think, that I've done. Nah, no, you can't pick my brain as the best one I've done to date. But I wanted to put this out there because I got so tired of the narrative, and we, with the media and social media, we get sucked into this conversation that automatically there's a default that there is no funding for women of color. That's complete and utter lies. There are plenty. I said Serena Williams. You have Arlen Hamilton's Backstage Capital. You have so many different companies that are specifically for women or people of color, some that are specifically for women. And then you have the ones that are not, that if you follow the steps that I give you, you can get their attention and possibly get the funding. So let's change the narrative. You know, we know that there's limited resources for us. Let's flip the script and take away every excuse that an investor can have for not giving you funding. That begins with number one, get the book, or you can get the book and or go to funding school. Some of you have been to funding school. I started funding school a few years ago to strip guys, investors, from every excuse for saying that the company's not ready. It's a lifestyle brand. They don't understand the relationships. They don't understand. Go to mogulchixacademy.com and look up funding school. We start on April 30th for the next session. This is a comprehensive all out course, 3 weeks, 1 day a week, 90 minutes a day, 2 hours a day, I think it is. And this is just, the book is just a tip of the iceberg. The stuff that we'll cover in funding school, child, listen, you will be a funding expert by the end of that class. We also brought in, we have experts that we bring in that talks about the post investment, the financial management of it. It is not enough to just get a check or get the funding from an investor. You have to know how to manage that money. And a lot of people don't know how to manage that money. How many times have you seen the stories where people will get funding, mostly Silicon Valley bros, but they'll get funding, they'll go on a shopping spree, they'll buy office furniture, they'll take trips, they throw big lavish parties, celebrating that they got funding. That ain't how you roll. That's not how you do it. So my goal with funding school is to prepare you and be able to strip investors of every possible excuse to not fund you. Because a business that has potential, a business that has a strong leadership team and founding team, a business that has a strong team, period, and a good steady foundation, that beats everything. That beats a pitch deck, because your pitch deck can be fly as all get out, but that doesn't mean anything. You can pitch till your face is blue, but it don't mean that the investors are going to give you money. You have to be ready for it, and they're going to look at all the fundamentals. That's what I want: the valuation, your trajectory for the business, cost of customer acquisition, what your growth prospect looks like, all of that stuff. We covered that and more in funding school. So again, go to mogulchixacademy.com. You can go there and you can buy the book and just read about this, the VC funding, the Mogul Chix Guide to Getting VC Funding. Or you can take funding class and arm yourself and prepare yourself to get in front of investors and build those relationships and get that funding. And I'm not talking about no little $20,000 here, $50,000 here. I'm talking about the big money. I've been in this a long time. I've been in the VC landscape. I've been through at accelerators as a mentor. I've counseled clients on getting funding. And I take all of my years of experience. For those of you who don't know, I spent about 6 or 7 years advising and mentoring through accelerator programs. My very first one was, shout out to Mark Haysbrook, was Straight Shot Accelerator in Omaha, Nebraska. But my point is, I want to change the conversation, the trajectory of this conversation, and let's flip it on its ear and let's take control of it and make ourselves where we are more fundable. There's some of you that are going to sit here and dispute me and say, no, well, they're ready and they still wouldn't give it to. No, there's always another alternative. So Mogul Chix Academy, that's Chix with an X.com. Make sure you sign up for funding school. We only have limited numbers of seats. It's a 3-week program. We start April 30th. So once that class is full, that's it. There's no getting into it. That's not a scarcity thing, but that's just a capacity thing, because it is what it is. So go buy the book, go sign up for funding school, and I will see you on the 30th. And until then, you guys are going to hear from me. I'm going to talk about this book. I'm going to talk about funding school, and hopefully you don't get sick of me, but I'm going to keep on making it happen. So if you have any questions, feel free to DM me or shoot me a comment below, or give me your opinion on what you think the funding landscape looks like at this point, and share some of your kind of roadblocks that you've run into as far as getting funding for your business. So take care. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.